is how to get GLP-1 results without the shot. Wouldn't that be nice? Isn't that nice? I want to, from the get-go, say that I have no negative feelings about people using GLP or anything like that. I just, as with supplements, I appreciate intentionality. I'm going to share is for people who are trying to avoid GLP-1s, but want to get those results without the shots. But I just want to be clear from the get-go. If you are on a GLP-1, the information I am sharing is equally as valuable and helpful to you, because getting lifestyle factors in place is really the key to maintaining and continuing with your results, right? And mitigating any negativity that might be happening after you get off them if you try to do that. So that's what we're about. And I just wanted to say that right off the bat, this is a really a safe space. This is just, I am all about just helping to lift lives any way I can. And I'm really going to just kind of crack open my best strategies for you guys and try to nail it down. So the goal of today's training is to learn how GLP-1s work. These words get thrown around a lot, and I really want you to understand what they are and what they do. I want you to super understand how stress undermines hormones like GLP-1, and what's happening when you choose to take a medication to help with that, and then what you really, really need to do so that you stand a chance of getting off that medication and making sure that you can keep your results. People talk a lot about the food side of things or exercise, and honestly, stress is the third pillar in all of my programs. It honestly is the secret sauce, our stress management strategies. And some people here are people in my programs that obviously just can't get enough of listening to me. Thank you so much. But they'll tell you, they know that I really work on that with everybody individually in the program. And the other thing we're going to share today is food and exercise strategies to support GLP production, increase insulin sensitivity. That is the name of the game, my friends, and reduce food noise. And you can do this without medication. And if you do those things, you can get results just like you see people getting with GLP-1s, and just as kind of easily as you see people getting on GLP-1s, but without some of the negative side effects that they have to deal with. So the top struggles we're going to have to cover today, and I want to make sure of who I'm talking to here. You can all read why right stopped working. I think a lot of you here probably are doing the right things and it's not adding up. So I'm not going to ask people, necessarily where you're at, if you're taking GLP-1s, if you're trying to avoid them, wherever you're at, let me know. Are you stuck? So is it that you're stuck, or is it that you're trying to, let's just say, trying to get further in your journey? Like you're doing okay, you want to get further, or you're stuck? Could you put in the chat? And like, there's a delay, so I'll see it. I'm not going to answer to it. I'm going to keep rolling along here, but just so that I make sure I know who I'm talking to here at this event, and make sure I'm answering the concerns of, the majority of people here, and seeing, and if you have anything special you want me to see, I'll see it come up there. But we are going to talk about what I call your hormonal scorecard in a sense, okay? And how your capability works against you. Everybody who finds me is a doer. Everybody who finds me is usually a very highly educated, super smart, busy professional. That's our prototype. So I don't really attract anybody who's a dingling, quite frankly. And I know all of you know a fair amount about nutrition, about exercise. You've been doing all the things, about how you being such a capable doer can work against you in terms of weight loss. And for some of you who are stuck, this is going to be a factor that you're not considering in your weight loss journey. It can be really helpful just in and of itself. We are going to talk about how and why healthy food doesn't always equal fat loss. And everybody in my program knows we have certain parameters we start with people because they just work better. And I will explain why. We're going to talk about why strength workouts that you're hearing about, heavy weights, don't always equal fat loss. You have to strategize exercise for your goal. And we're going to talk about why the concept of willpower works against you. So whether or not you're going the GLP-1 route because you just needed that to shut off. Like nobody wants to white knuckle it anymore. Nobody here is going to have to white knuckle it with the suggestions I'm giving you, because I do not believe in eliminating any foods whatsoever. I think it's unsustainable. And so we actually embrace social foods in my approach and everything I talk about today. We're going to talk about what actually works now, strategize foods. And I am going to literally give you a list, like get your pen and paper, of top foods that you can use to increase GLP-1 naturally, and why you might do that. Just because it says GLP-1, you might not have the issue that solves. You might not need these foods. Like, wouldn't that be interesting to learn? We're going to talk about how short targeted workouts really are the name of the game for certain populations. And I would argue for everybody, but especially for certain populations. And we're going to talk about nervous system recalibration, which is so important. So my friends, if you have ever said, I know what to do, I've done it before, my body's just not responding, I feel you. Everybody who comes to me, literally every single person, that's their story. I told you, you guys all know. And then you get to the place of like, you can read, you just don't feel like, even trying or blaming yourself anymore. It's an exhausting, hamster wheel you're on. And that's what I want to get you out of, like, right now. Okay. So here we go. I want to be very clear that the strategies I'm giving you today work for regular people and busy people. So these are examples of people. On Lindy on the left there in the red sweater, she had even gone to like extreme measures to try to lose weight, which had been an issue her whole life. She put these strategies in place and turned into the picture there and maintained it it's been over 2 years. Same situation with Dawn in the center. She's a big job in finance, and not only did these strategies that I'm going to give you today work for her, and she transformed. Both of those two are completely menopausal, by the way. But, there's nothing, this is not about vanity. This weight and this weight, go together. And when your outside does not match the strong, capable person, or your inside, you start shrinking and you're hiding. How many of you are hiding in the back of pictures right now? Or, if you have somewhere nice to go out, you dread getting dressed. It's like the three things and what doesn't offend you enough, but none of them really light you up. And so, it's really important to get this in gear and to feel your best every day, because it generates energy for you. When you're in communion, when your outside matches the strong, capable person you are on the inside, you are firing on all cylinders. You have your best to share, and there's a ripple effect in the world. And that's personally what I'm after. But like, Dawn is doing things professionally she never imagined. She was such a shrinking violet, and then she's losing this weight, and it helped her lose this weight. It all goes together. Over on the right there is she is a school teacher, and she's doing fine, but she had this baby belly that would never, ever go. And putting these strategies in place, boom, so quickly. That was like 8 weeks or something. Here is a professional who travels constantly. She is the manager for the entire Western region of the United States. She oversees all sales for a store you all have been in and know well. And she has a massive job. And this was her arm before, this was her arm after, for you arm folks. So, and it doesn't take a long time. Slow and steady wins the race here, but it doesn't take a long time. Just a few more people so you can see. She is in her late 30s, struggled with weight. She was a dancer who then developed a condition where she couldn't dance anymore. And, she was used to that much exercise. For any of you former athletes here, that transition in adulthood, or if you get injured, can be really difficult. And she was finally able, after there's baby weight there too, get that going. This is woman in full menopause, same Christmas party, 1 year apart. And she had, I think she used the strategies I'm going to share for, I think it was really only about a little over, was she 12 or 16 weeks? I think she might have done a 16-week program, but that's just a few months. And look at that massive difference from being stuck there in menopause for years. And confidentially, that is a size 2 dress she is wearing. And it was like, she can wear her daughter's clothes who's in college, and she just can't believe it. And she's very excited. And then this young lady here, on the right, struggled with weight off and on her whole life, and has Hashimoto's and thyroid issues, and she was able to get there too. So I just share that so you know. A couple more, you get the gist of what I'm talking about here, you know, and you start to see the difference, especially in this belly fat area that bothers so many people. And that's just putting simple strategies in place. And here's the last one. She had struggled with her food, struggle with her weight her entire life. And the thing about Kylie that's so interesting is not only does she is an executive with a huge job, she actually just left it now because she's a food blogger, and now she's a full-time food blogger, and she's written cookbooks, and it's all comfort food. So she came to me, somebody who literally makes a living off of comfort food that she makes and eats and enjoys, and she turned into that. And it did not take a very long time, and she has maintained it for over 2 years. You can look her up. It's tried and true recipes. Her name is Kylie Parati, one of the loveliest people you'll ever meet, but her journey is very well documented on Instagram and on Reddit, and it's using the exact strategies I'm going to give you today. So like, this is no joke. I am just, look, so many people, the same experience. So there you go. You stay to the end today. I'm going to send you my, I'm going to tell you how you can get my binge eating and sugar cravings guide, which is one of the main issues that GLP-1s shut down. This is how I do it naturally. I'm going to explain it a little bit. This is that information on steroids. So, okay, why should you even listen to me at all? I know you all found me, and either you've been following me for a while and got an email, or you saw me on socials and you just thought she makes sense. I really want you to know I come at this at such a humble place. I truly have been in the position of feeling like I did not know what to do with my body. I never, ever, ever expected to be in this position. I went to NYU for acting. I only got into this field literally by accident. I had an accident at 19, and I just decided I would start going to fitness studios to feel strong again. Anyway, I wasn't supposed to be this. I was supposed to be a star. See, that's a movie poster, and you see everybody on the movie poster looking over at me on the side there. That's because I'm the star of that movie. And down right below me is Desi Lydic. She is one of the stars of, oh my gosh, The Daily Show. That's menopause brain. It's real. So we can all just bond over that moment together. Anyway, that's Mike Farrell from MASH. And yeah, I really thought this would be the one that like set my career on fire. Sonia Morel, who is here, was actually at the Philadelphia show of that. I saw somebody else from Philly here. That movie played all over, but it did not light my career on fire. I turned to writing, and this is actually a top 10 movie I had on Netflix last year that I wrote. I'm the only writer. So like, I did do some stuff. This is what I thought I'd be doing, but really, I used fitness to feel better after that accident I had. I taught myself to teach, and I really enjoyed it, but it was such a sideline in my life. And what was really interesting, and this is what relates to you, is that I spent the first 16 years of my career doing everything you and everybody else here thinks they needed to do to, you know, lose weight and be fit. And everybody here has done it, where you've definitely restricted food, or you've counted calories or macros, or you did the grueling workouts, that kind of stuff. This is what I learned. I mean, I'm 53, so this was 1993. I think I got my first certificate. No, yeah, I don't know, 112 years ago. Anyway, it was rough. And what happened is I gained 25 pounds doing all the right things. I can't make the air quotes flap hard enough on that. It was horrible. What I did, and this is all that TikTok advice about heavy weights, heavy weights, heavy weights that you're hearing. If you have a layer of flab and you are just pounding heavy weights at it and you are working out for calorie burn, we're going to get into this later. You're going to do what I did, which is blow up this muscle underneath, layer of flab that doesn't go. You're going to kind of feel like you're doubling in size and feel like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. I'm really dating myself with a Ghostbusters reference. Oh my God. It was bad. It was bad. And it's just bad strategy is what it was. And I'm going to help you with that. It was really terrible. This was the first time in my life I really experienced imposter syndrome, where I am very gifted with exercise and very creative exercise, and people would come and, you know, I have good energy and fun and whatever. But honestly, I was dying inside because people were paying a lot of money to train with me and do my classes. And I knew I couldn't even get myself to where I wanted to be. I white knuckled it back to a certain place by age 33, but I stayed there for a long time, just struggling. And finally, one day I had this celebrity client coming in, and I was like, I remember staring at the wall above my laptop like I am now and going, this doesn't work. I was making the calories in and calories out equation for this guy. And I'm like, this does not work. It doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for anybody. And so what I decided to do was blow it up. I just went, okay. And I was going to guinea pig myself on essentially the opposite. And, well, I turned into that and that and that. This is not too long ago. I'm 53 years old. I have had 2 children with this body, and I have Hashimoto's, believe it or not. It's just the way I live, which is what I'm going to share with you, is I'm extremely asymptomatic. I am almost through, I don't know. I keep thinking I'm in menopause and I keep getting surprises, but I'm almost there, right? So anyway, but this is my life now. I never expected this. I do a lot of TV. I do, a lot of shows. I do a lot of magazine interviews and stuff like that. And you guys see me all over Instagram, TikTok, everywhere. I'm about to start a podcast. And I do speaking, like down there, that's me with the senior leadership of the Coast Guard. That was really interesting. Just trying to teach anybody who will listen these very easy strategies to be in your best energy and feel awesome, especially when you have high pressure lifestyles. And a high pressure lifestyle, by the way, doesn't have to mean that, you're giving closing arguments in a trial, like it's just that it could be that you are a working parent with a to-do list that is so long for work and for home, or it could be just anything, right? So it's just the idea of what is loaded onto our plate or what's loaded up in our mind that is making this busier than it needs to be. Here's my fam jam. I've got 2 kids. That's like us on vacation. We love to play cards. I do rescue dogs. I've never bought a dog. I only do rescues. Again, no judgment. It's just my choice. It's what I can give to the world. Down there in that corner is a bearded dragon. Somehow I have a dragon. I am the mother of dragons. I'm not burning up villages, but I do feed that thing every day. That's my brother. That's my dad and his wife. And so I'm just a mom. Like a lot of people here that's found a way, and I love to share that. So if you're frustrated by the failure of so many other things, like Allie here, young executive that wanted to enjoy her social life. She did not want to choose between her social life and like feeling her best in clothes she actually wanted to wear. And this is going to work for you. Okay, GLP-1s, get out your pen and paper. Let's do this. How do they work? What do they do? So GLP-1s are hormones inside your own body, in the gastrointestinal tract, in the colon, and in the colon. And when you eat, they're released. What they do is that they stimulate the release of insulin. They inhibit glucagon, which is a hormone that raises blood sugar. So if your blood sugar is higher, then your body is not going to go find food. You get the idea. When your blood sugar is low, you're signaled, find food, find food. They slow gastric emptying. That means food stays in your stomach longer. They are cued by food intake, especially carbohydrates and fats. And or just the activity of microbes in your gut and signals from your brain. So what does this mean to you? They suppress your appetite because they make you feel full sooner and longer. You guys have heard about this. Like, they're just not hungry. I don't know if you've eaten out at dinner or lunch or something with somebody who's on a GLP-1, or if you're on one. They have a few bites and they're like, okay, I got it. You know, like, I'm done. They can't overeat. They can't. But this isn't necessarily the best thing always. The GLP-1s reduce spikes in blood sugar and literally shut off food cravings. So these are two different functions, but your brain is, because the blood sugar is not spiking, the brain is not receiving signals that you are low on, glucose, and that we need to go find food. So that signaling just literally shuts off. So somebody on a GLP-1 can sit in front of their favorite chocolate cake and be like, nah. All right, we want you to be able to do that actually, honestly, naturally. There are people in my program here that know that that is the experience of it. And the big thing is it improves insulin sensitivity. I cannot highlight this enough. This is the name of the game. And that is what, well, I might as well explain this right now. I was going to explain it later, but I just want to explain it right now. Here's how your metabolism works. So when you eat food, your body shoots out insulin to pull the glucose from your bloodstream into your muscles. That's like what it does. When you are insulin sensitive, you're really good at it. The receptors are like, boop, and then insulin goes away. And what happens? You go back to fat burning. That is your main fuel system. We're all burning fat right now. And you guys standing, I'm standing, you're sitting here watching this probably. We're all burning fat. It's some people on this call are better than other people. That is because of insulin sensitivity. They don't have as much insulin out at any given time, right? And so that's the name of the game. Not, restricting calories so much or worrying about calorie burn or that kind of stuff. The name of the game is, how sensitive are you to insulin? And how efficient is your metabolism because of that? And this is one of the main things that GLP-1s very successfully improve for people. Here is the challenge, and I'm not sure if you can see this slide. I hope you can. It's like kind of small. I'm not sure how it's coming across for you. But if you see, GLP-1s will absolutely, during the time you're using them, create fat loss and help with blood sugar regulation, deal with just all sorts of issues, right? It's all yes, 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 yeses, except for, rewiring your gut-brain pathways, which, your gut and your brain really do have to be in a good conversation together. That's pretty much the only thing that you kind of got to go, not so much. Also, they don't improve digestion elimination. That is actually one of the problems in them. But after GLP-1s, you can see on that list, that food noise comes back with a vengeance. That problem is not solved. Improved muscle definition, absolutely not. In fact, you are losing 25 to 40% muscle on a GLP-1. Why is this significant? Now, when people have a lot of weight to lose, they will lose some muscle. So we don't want to just go like blanket statement, you can't lose muscle, blah, blah. No, like if you've been carrying around, 25, 30% more body weight than you need, you have muscle developed to be able to do that. Like, you will lose some muscle commensurately with fat loss. That would be correct. And you're going to end up at a place where you have the right amount of muscle to support your body and move you around. It will be less than what you needed before, and that would be okay. That's not going to affect longevity or your bones. It's all your body staying in balance. It's all good. The problem is that it lowers your baseline metabolism. So the presumption is, if you use lifestyle factors as you were losing this muscle, you're all fine because you're not dealing with food cravings or a slow digestion. Like, what happens when we lose a lot of muscle, our baseline metabolism plummets. If you are losing fat and you're losing muscle at the same time with lifestyle factors, your metabolism stayed on fire the whole time. You did this because of that, not because you were shutting off, you were squeezing calories so low or something like that, something sort of artificial. You weren't messing with your energy systems to be able to force a result on a scale. I hope that distinction is clear. So you can read the chart in depth. I hope you can see it. But this is why, even if you're on a GLP-1, you really do need to get these lifestyle factors in place. So your brain is going to work for you. So your hormones are going to support you to continue on your journey successfully. Okay, here we go. Now, this is the interesting piece for all these doers here. Your capability can really undermine your health and well-being goals. So stress hormones, this is what a lot of people are not taking into consideration, and this is massive. Without getting into it too big on this one, I talk about this. You can always find me and ask me, or just, follow me and you'll hear about this, but super fast. When we are faced with challenges or circumstances we didn't choose, our brain has a default. It is either going to default to a mindset that is about abundance and plenty and, safety and it's all good. We'll just see how it works out. Most of us don't default that place. You have to grow that. What happens is for most of us that we default to a place where our brain starts to protect us and starts to spin in what might go wrong, and then trying to mitigate that and mitigate against that, right? So this amygdala of your brain is the protective place. This is the center that is only set off by one of two things. It's either scarcity or it's threat. Scarcity is, in this day and age, I'm not going to have enough time, I'm not going to have enough energy, I'm going to run out of funds, or I'm going to miss out on something. So think. And so let's just apply this concept to diets. A diet will work for you for a minute because it's creating an identity that is shooting out dopamine for you. We get dopamine, our happy hormone, from achievement, right? So for a minute, that identity, and I am doing this thing and I'm showing up for it. Check, 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 check. You're actually getting dopamine all that time until life happens and you can't keep up with it, because you didn't have enough time to prepare all the foods and do the meal prep and do the blah, 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 blah. And then or it's that you've had to say no thank you too many times, too many social occasions where you see other people enjoying themselves and you got your just little salad or something like that, and you disconnected. We are hardwired for connection. So one of the reasons diets don't work is because they disconnect us from other people over food, which is our number one way of bonding with people, pretty much our number one way when you think about it. And they create an identity that is outside of that. And then when it no longer fits, not only does it trigger this scarcity effect that you're missing out and that you can't have this, or that you're not going to be satisfied with the small amount you're giving yourself, it also is a threat to your ego. That threat is really to our ego that we're going to fail. And nobody here is a failing type of person. Everybody that follows me tends to be a high achiever. Yes, this is recorded. So, failure feels really bad to us, just as bad as if, circumstantially something went wrong. That is a stress response in the body. All of these things are going to make the brain want to protect us. And all of these things are going to cause the amygdala to start activating. And what does it do? It signals to your adrenal glands, start shooting out adrenaline and cortisol. Cortisol, you hear cortisol makes fat. How does this happen? The short answer is insulin is the balance for cortisol. The more cortisol that gets shot out, the more insulin is sent out to balance it. This is part of what causes insulin sensitivity to go down, because their body is just getting numb to insulin. It's just breaking the receptors. It's not working anymore. It just takes more and more and more to it, right? The body's just like, whatever, insulin. And let's please remember, if insulin is out, What is not being used as a fuel system? Anyone? Bueller. Fat. Fat cannot be used for fuel when you have insulin out. So anybody with a chronically high stress level that this brain is protecting you, low level all day, every day. And what's the number one thing that's triggering our stress level right now? This phone, scrolling, all ads, all news, designed to keep you on it for longer by creating a sense of scarcity that or threat, you're not enough, right? So between your life, between all your to-dos, between your hopes and dreams and fears that have, like a little place in there and are always bouncing around, then you have the phone triggering you all day long. And then if you're in perimenopause or menopause or have thyroid or Hashimoto's or anything else going on, oh my goodness, perfect storm. So don't blame yourself. So this is why it's really important to get this in gear. Highly capable people, getting to the title of this slide, don't feel stress. We don't feel it the same way. You're just like, oh, I got it. Yeah, I already have too much to do, but you know what? I can handle that for you too. Because our identity is so wrapped up in our capability. We feel good. We get dopamine from taking more on. We thrive on pressure. We thrive on being the one everybody turns to have the answers. And sometimes we have them and sometimes we don't, right? But we want to help. Well, guess what? That is a low-lying level of stress right there. That is low level, that's an elevated level actually of cortisol compared to somebody else. That is just baseline for you, right? And then you add adrenaline to the mix. What does adrenaline do? It fuels soothing behaviors. So you have all this adrenaline that's keeping you going all day because your blood sugar is probably not level. Many people in this community skip meals or they're not eating enough. Your blood sugar is, and what happens when the blood sugar drops? Your brain is saying, go get more, right? I mean, oh my gosh, you see this perfect storm that's happening. Yeah. So the problem is when you're super capable, you can actually go really hard and really long and you like it. You thrive at that level, that frequency. So you don't necessarily understand that your body's paying for it. And when we all start to see that middle section coming, when we see this weight packing on around here, I promise you, it's not just some midlife thing you have to accept. It is years and years and years of this weight. And so we have to address it together. I hope that all makes sense. Why do GLP-1s work? The little line at the bottom. It masks all of this instead of addressing it. And that's why when you go off, all this stuff comes back with a vengeance too, as well as the binge eating, the sugar cravings, because the adrenaline at night when you don't have any more work to do and you get home and you need to relax, well, it's going to tell you, go find food because we want to chew. Chewing is your fastest pathway to rest and digest. We learned it the second we were born, nursing right away, pacifiers. The vagus nerve attachment in the jaw is what immediately tells the central nervous system. That's why you want to, you've ate your dinner, but you just keep finding things to eat, even though you're not even really hungry and you keep eating and eating. It's a stress response. You need more tools in your toolbox so you don't need to do that. Okay, let's talk about some strategy for what you can do to mitigate all of this. All right. Healthy food doesn't always equal fat loss. What we want to do is make sure we're keeping your blood sugar stable and we're meeting your energy needs. And that is the number one strategy I use with people in my program. Now, the thing about healthy food is there's tons of healthy food, but it doesn't necessarily come at you in combinations that are going to leave you satisfied with an energy appropriate portion that gets you from meal to meal. And that's what's really important, that you can leave this space between the meal. So we want to be eating regularly throughout the day. I have people start what I call their food clock for the day. You don't have to be regimented about the exact time. You just want to make sure you're eating within 60, 90 minutes of waking up. And I think 90 is pushing it. at least something to get a log on that fire, especially if you work out. You do not want to work out fasted ever. I believe that for all populations. But, you can find data that somebody in their 30s or 20s can, like, I don't know, you can go around and we could argue it at a trial, right? But not for the menopausal group, not for people in perimenopause or menopause or with any hormonal issues. Your cortisol levels are highest in the morning. We need to get those down. Why? Insulin sensitivity, remember? Okay, so name of the game, energy appropriate portions, eating on a schedule. You're trying to, make it at least 2 hours. Golden is somewhere between 3 and 4. Not really going past 4 if you can help it. Okay, that's going to keep, and so it's a different portion of food for everyone. You want to just put food on your plate, eat until you're satisfied, feels pretty good. Test it and see if you can get to that 3 to 4 hour mark. And that's how you would try to find. Okay, and that's what we're looking for is satiety, having enough to make you feel satisfied, but not overstuffed, unless you are actually a farmer. And not even farmers need it. They ride in a tractor all day. My cousin's husband is a farmer. I just had a whole big talk about what he does in Iowa. And yeah, he doesn't need to be filling up on the bacon and eggs and stuff in the morning because he's going out farming all day. It's just not like that anymore. So, you don't need to load up. Okay. It's much less than you think can get you from meal to meal. And you want to make sure you are always pairing a protein with a carbohydrate, always. And I'll just give you a little cheat sheet. In my world, we are leaving starchy carbohydrates for those meals we share with people at night. We're going to start by, really pulling them out of the beginning of the day a little bit, not always, not all the time, but a little bit. We'll lean, but you do not want to lose weight without them. For all you people who think you can't eat bread and lose weight or pizza or stuff like that, I invite you to just portion, get your stomach calibrated to energy appropriate portions and see that you can eat those things. It's really important for a long-term strategy to not feel like you are eliminating foods. Why? It will trigger that part of your brain that's going to shoot out cortisol. It will trigger the part of your brain that feels like it's missing out. Okay, gut balance and motility, really, really important. So gut-brain connection, if you're super stressed out, very hard to have a balanced gut, right? So your stress management strategy is really important. And before you go dumping a pile of fiber on anything, you have to make sure you're regular. So if gut motility is an issue, here are a few foods we add in commonly to help with that. Number one is chia seeds. You can start with whole chia seeds. If you're putting them in yogurt or something like that, you want to make sure to give them a minute to let them bloom, unless you don't mind a little crunch in your teeth. If you are at DEFCON 5 with like things are not moving for you at all, ground chia is going to move faster. They do different things in your digestive tract. Both of these things help to increase GLP-1 naturally. I'm going to go through the list of that food in a second, but that one, kiwi. 2 kiwi a day can help really move things. And we are getting a super burst of antioxidants from that. The antioxidants can help with the secretion of GLP-1. And again, what is GLP-1 doing for us? That is helping with portion control. So while you are trying to get your stomach calibrated to these energy appropriate portions of food, right? So we're eyeballing what this is. You're putting food on your plate, you're eating till you're satisfied. We're trying to figure out what that is for you. By adding in some of these GLP-1 producing foods, the foods that specifically do that, it will help you get to enjoy smaller energy appropriate portions of food. And why would you want to do this? So when you eat out socially, you don't have to worry about it, because you will never overeat. And what we're trying to avoid here is food soothing, eating for no reason, just to, handle our nervous system, right? But we're also looking to make it so that when we eat out with people, we can bond with them over food and not be sitting there calorie counting or thinking about that, because then that doesn't allow us to be present in our life, fully enjoy our life. And it doesn't allow us to relieve our stress by being there and, breaking bread with folks. The other thing is that by eating strategized food, you will avoid fluid retention. That really helps. We try to watch sodium. and throughout the day, if you're staying under 1,500 milligrams of sodium in general, that's fantastic. What that means is you are not eating a lot of foods that come from a can, or, you're really keeping the processed foods down, and you're trying to find things from nature the best you can, or things you can toss together. I have a lot of very fast tossed together recipes. Food is actually simpler than you think. And again, we're just doing this with the meals we don't share with others. And then by the time you get to a restaurant or the meals you're making for your family, don't worry about it so much. But, like the salt in your own cooking is not going to be a problem. It's the salt in processed foods. Okay, let me see what am I talking about exercise? Yeah, so I'm going to stay here, and I want to go through a list. So get this, and you'll get the replay. So, that would be helpful as well. But get this, get a pen and paper, and let me explain. High protein foods. Here's my little list, and I'm going to tell you, they promote the release of GLP-1, and they promote satiety. They make you feel full faster and for longer. Chicken's number one, about this much, 3/4 of a cup is about 54 grams. If you're somebody that's worried about getting enough protein, if you're eating eggs and meat and whatever and yogurt throughout the day, believe me, if you're eating at least 4 meals, you're getting enough. You don't need to worry about it in such a crazy way. Go get your body losing a 1/2 pound to 1.5 pounds of fat, actual fat, not muscle. If you're in the perimenopause, menopause group, if you're not in the group or a group of anybody with any kind of hormonal issue, 1 to 3 pounds of fat is possible. And I'm not talking about water or muscle. So if you have a scale to see, body composition, that's what we're looking for. But high protein foods, chicken's number one. Fish, that same portion of fish is about 45 grams of protein in it. Fantastic. Tofu, powerhouse. It's so easy. I mean, oh my gosh, I buy the 2 packets of it. I just make myself some slices. I either heat it in a pan in olive oil with some seasonings, one veg on the other side, or I might just eat it just like that because I'm that lazy. I do not food prep, my friends. No food prep, because oh my gosh, if I had to food prep, like when I was training at the gym, oh my gosh, I can't even describe to you how fast the food is that I was throwing in a Tupperware and running out the door. I can't be bothered. So Greek yogurt, very high in protein. Now, here's what I want to say about it. Greek yogurt, high in GLP, will help to increase GLP-1. If you're having portion controlling issues, this is the yogurt you want to go for, right? It's going to stay in your stomach longer. However, if you have gut motility issues, this is not the protein for you. Kefir is a yogurt that you could have, it's the drinkable one. That one will get to your gut microbiome. The probiotics in it will get the furthest into your intestinal tract. Of Greek yogurt, regular yogurt, or kefir, kefir gets all the way down. So if you're having any issues like that, kefir is the way to go for a minute while you're trying to balance your gut microbiome. Then maybe go back to regular yogurt. Do not go with Greek yogurt just because of the protein content. If you have a gut motility issue, you will be working against yourself. Andy's tip for the day for you. Okay, what else? Whey protein. If you are using a protein powder, I like to go with real food. But if you are using whey protein, it would be the way to go. Okay, beneficial fats. These really facilitate the release of GLP-1, and also they help to slow gastric emptying, which helps you. So my favorites, avocado and avocado oil, olives and olive oil. Do not sit there counting your olive oil or your avocado oil. You can't get enough. Go ahead and just put it in the pan like a zhuzhi and eat. That's not your problem, believe me. And you're going to have great skin, hair, and nails. You are not getting that from the collagen powder. You're getting that from antioxidants and things like olive oil and avocado oil. So, start with that first. See if you actually need a collagen. It has some place, but sometimes we can fix it just with that. Chia, flax, and hemp seeds. Lean on these hard. They are so good, and they are also very rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which are hard to get. Everybody's supplementing it, but you could really do a lot with just getting chia and flax and different things in your diet, as well as walnuts, pistachios, almonds, salmon, and other fatty fish, of course. These are our beneficial fats. So salmon and fatty fish kind of tick 2 boxes for us, but those are amongst my top. non-grain soluble fiber. Now, again, I'm saying for fat loss. So remember, I said there's a difference between healthy food and healthy food for fat loss. You can go find a list of, soluble fiber foods. That includes oats, that includes, I think barley's on that list as well as a grain with soluble fiber in it. But I do not find these to be advantageous for fat loss. Sorry for people that start their breakfast with some overnight oats or something like that. Switch it to a chia pudding. And I think you'll be happier. Just give it a try. It's not a life sentence. Just we're trying to get you going, and then you test putting things back in. But why do these soluble fiber-rich, non-starchy carbohydrates like apples, pears, beans, lentils, chickpeas, why are these really important? They make something called butyrate. They're fermented in the gut, and they make butyrate. Butyrate is your friend. It causes GLP-1 release because it creates this short-chain fatty acid. And probiotics do the same thing, by the way. So I have everybody in my program, when they start with me, pretty much eat an apple thing or a pear thing every day, because the inulin in it, low-hanging fruit. I can't believe I just said that. I'll be here all night. I've literally in 34 years never made that joke, and it wasn't even a good one. Apples and pears, the inulin, it's just an easy way to make sure you're getting a prebiotic, a fermented food. Also, so on the line of prebiotics, they feed the good bacteria in your gut. They support the gut microbiome. So you're getting probiotics from yogurt and from some other things. You need prebiotic to feed it. My favorite, asparagus. If you're on a weight loss journey, and many of the people here that are in my program, I saw a few of them, know that I will give somebody in the breakfast in the morning, like an egg, and have some asparagus and some mushrooms. Why mushrooms? For vitamin D. Asparagus, because they're going to help to get fluid off your body. They are natural diuretic to help get fluid off your body, which will make you feel like you're winning really fast. But also they're feeding the good gut microbiome, the good microbes in your gut, and they're going to help us get your gut in gear and moving quickly. So we want fluid retention gone. We want elimination fast and predictable. And so that, you're feeling like you're winning already just because you feel leaner from that. You're eating energy appropriate portions of food. Bloating is gone. Digestive issues gone. And now we can really focus on just living in a way where it's fat loss because of insulin sensitivity. That brings me to the exercise portion, but I just want to finish this list. The prebiotics, asparagus, kefir, like I mentioned, or regular yogurt. Greek yogurt too, but I lean into regular yogurt, sauerkraut, garlic and onions, yum, yum, yum. And the powdered works too, by the way. Green bananas. And then on the high polyphenol side, we're talking about the super antioxidants. Berries, dark chocolate. Hue is the best brand because it's made with cacao. Look for pure cacao, 70%. A little cane sugar is okay. That never hurt anybody, but dark chocolate, good stuff. Matcha and green tea. Matcha and green tea, not only super high in polyphenols, which enhance GLP-1 secretion and improve your gut hormone function, it does one other magic thing. It helps to boost metabolism. There are like 7 small studies that, especially with matcha, talk about how it can increase your body's ability to use fat for fuel during workouts, because your body doesn't tend to use fat for fuel during workouts, by the way. Workouts set up your body to burn fat for fuel, but you're not really using it. Green tea can help your body mobilize that a little better. Even if these studies are completely, not gold standard. They're small. They're too small to be gold standard. Even they're all wrong. The benefits of the antioxidants in matcha and green tea are just so high, it doesn't matter. But I do believe that to be true. Also, coffee in moderation, and it can, same thing, give you that metabolic boost and really helps. So nothing wrong with coffee. Okay, that's my food list to help you. Here we go. Let's talk on the exercise side of things quickly, and we're almost there. So the difference between healthy exercise and fat loss exercise, I want you to please stop going to any of these classes that have a leaderboard for calorie burn. That is so not what we're trying to do. And when I teach everything. I'm an advanced level Pilates instructor. I am certified in over 10 things. And when I was teaching a lot of spinning classes, that was a period of time where I had to be very careful. I was gaining weight again. Why? You are burning out your muscle sugar. I wasn't eating enough, burning out muscle sugar, and then you are famished. And even if I was fueling properly, it's just then gonna keep, I'm eating for an exercise lifestyle to fuel the exercise so that I'm not catabolizing my own muscle during the exercise. If you run out of glucose in your bloodstream, your body goes to glycogen, stores in the muscle as the next fuel system. If it runs out of that, it only takes 7 minutes to catabolize muscle. It takes 45 minutes to start with an aerobic process to start using fat for fuel. Get the idea? If you're working out too hard for too long. So if your workout goal is fat burning efficiency and healing insulin receptors, increasing GLP-1 to help you with portion control, not make you feel like you need to eat buckets of food after your workout because you feel funky because you've burned out all the muscle glycogen and you have no blood sugar, then we need to do a different kind of exercise. My favorite kind of exercise for literally everybody is something I call REHIT. I don't call it, it's what it's called, REHIT, reduced exertion, high intensity interval training. What does that mean? So in a lot of these classes, they're pushing you to the max, 60 seconds or so, and then you take a break, and then you go to the next circuit, 60 seconds, and then you take a break, and those breaks are only 60 seconds. That's the problem. Intervals work because of the 0 to 60. They don't let you come back down to 0. And in between, this exercise and that exercise and the other one, in between intervals, it takes longer and longer for your body to come back down. So I tell my clients to aim for 8 out of 10, not 10 out of 10, like aim for 8, reduced exertion, 8, right? It's hard, but you're not dying. And we also don't want to not work out. And then when you're done with that sprint, 30 seconds to 60 seconds, whatever you're doing, you need to let your heart rate come all the way down to a 4. You're going to feel like you've given up on the workout. A 4 is you're on a brisk walk with a friend, and you're getting a little breathless, but you can totally still talk. Then you go again. All you need are 3 to 5 of those per workout, non-consecutive days. Do that 3 times a week. You will start to heal insulin sensitivity. Okay. So whatever mode of exercise you're doing, you can do this with weight training. You just want lighter weights, but it could be squat to overhead press. We could be doing that. You could be doing this. If you're somebody who likes walking on a treadmill, I promise you walking is not going to get it there, but you throw in a few jogging intervals. If this is what it does to your heart rate, that will help. We definitely want to be doing strength training. We don't want to be doing that. You want to be working with heavy weights, but we don't want to be doing it so much or too much on a fat loss journey to where that is the principal thing we're doing, because it's just building muscle tissue, but it is not working on that insulin sensitivity quite in the same way that HIIT workouts are. And also the HIIT workouts done the way I'm talking about, with enough rest in between them. So the heart is really challenged each time, that 0 to 60, 0 to 60. It wasn't that it was 80 and then it dropped to 65, 80, 60. You know what I mean? It's like as far as it can be. That kind of a workout is really going to set you up for success. And that's what we want to do. So the strength training, definitely still want to do it, but put your effort on a fat loss journey in things that are going to heal, to make you a better fat burner all day. And then, you're maintaining muscle with these workouts while you're on that journey, but you don't want to increase too much while you're trying to get the fat off, because it's really demoralizing. You want to think of it more as maintaining, maybe growing a little bit if you don't have that strength, but that's what we want to do. Okay, let's see what else. So what we talked about today are ways to make willpower not really a thing. If you optimize the meals you don't share with other people during the day, if you eat on a schedule, if you start to get this in gear and you're eating natural foods, what will happen is you will change your taste away from salty and sugary foods, and you will not have to worry about it, and you will not have done it artificially with a medication. It will have happened for real. And so this is really, really, really important. I kind of explained this slide earlier, but this is the key. We want to be doing this with energy appropriate portions of food eaten on a schedule throughout the day. You want to be picking advantageous food. You do not want to be over exercising. My exercise bar is 20 minutes a day, by the way. If you do a little more, great. But if you're on a fat loss journey, we just want to be standing and walking more, and then keeping the workouts consistent 5 to 6 days a week. We want consistency, consistently working on that insulin sensitivity, not on calorie burn, not on anything like that. You want to use workouts to generate energy for your day, to bring you joy, to feel your own power. And then that's it. Get in, get out. Okay. So that you can be really consistent with it, even if it's only 9 minutes a day. You know, that will be better and standing and walking if you're on this fat loss journey to get predictable weight loss going. And then you can add on to it, I promise. Okay. So that's how you want to start thinking about it. Everything you do, you have to make sure you're picking food that makes you happy. Make sure your workouts make you happy. It's consistency that is going to do exactly what those GLP-1 drugs do, but in a long-term sense, right? It takes 66 days to make a habit. So you have to, a habit is something you enjoy doing, and it's easy. And it will give you dopamine. That's the reward your body will give you for doing it. So make sure with your food choices and your exercise choices, they are bringing you joy and making you happy. Okay, so that's the key thing. The fat loss food strategy we talked about, less is more workouts. And then we're going to do some brain training. And we talked about living in that flow state more. That's alpha brainwave. So you want to make sure you're doing little things throughout the day that de-stress you. I have a lot of stuff on that. I have whole separate programs on that. But, you know, whatever you're doing, it doesn't have to be a big deal, but just interject your day. 60, 90, 2-minute, 90-second, 2-minute things to help you just chill out, little breath work, a little whatever you want to do. But that is going to help tremendously to shut off that amygdala in your brain and have less cortisol all the time. What we're looking for is a fulfillment lifestyle. If you're eating foods you like, if you're exercising in ways you like and generating energy, if you're doing little stress management things, you are going to start to change your brain. Remember, I said it's going to start to default into a much more positive place when circumstances hit you than a negative place. And that is going to be something that you're going to see when the weight comes off here, the weight comes off here and better and in a lasting way.